Okay, and this next one, this is a film called Requiem for a Dream. It's a bit older movie. I can't remember when this came out. Probably the late 90s it came out. It is one of my all-time favorite movies and one of my all-time favorite soundtracks. What sets this apart is that it's primarily string quartet. It's not a whole orchestra. It's just the four members of a string quartet. And a string quartet is two violins, viola, and cello. That is what makes up a string quartet. There's some extra stuff in here, like some bells, some electronic elements, like some synthesizers, but primarily the whole soundtrack is string quartet with these extra elements peppered in here and there. In this opening sequence, you're going to hear exactly that. You're going to hear string quartet with some electronic elements, a little bit of percussion. And you're going to hear another one of these ostinatos. This one's very different. This one's slower. It's a repeating riff over and over. In this case, you're going to hear it in kind of like a bell-like sound. I'll point it out right when it comes in, and then you can latch your ear onto that, and then I'll let it play for the rest of the opening sequence here. This is it. This is the bell thing, the ostinato. Okay, that's the end of the opening sequence. Okay, so could you pay attention to that bell riff that was happening over and over? If you were latched onto that, if your ear was focused in on that, you will have noticed that it did not change for the entire opening sequence. It was going all the way through. It didn't change notes, it didn't change pattern, it didn't change rhythm. That ostinato just kept going, and the other instruments started to build on top of it, but that groundwork of the ostinato, or in other words, the riff, went throughout that entire opening scene. And that ostinato plays a really crucial role throughout the entire soundtrack of this whole movie. We hear it all the time. It's kind of creepy. It comes back in other instruments. It comes back, slower, faster, higher, lower, but it's always a key element throughout the entire score, and that's what makes this score just a great score. It uses very few elements. There's not a lot of things happening here throughout the entire score of the movie. It's those elements that we just heard, the ostinato, that little melody, sort of. There was kind of a melody in there in the violins, and there was kind of a chord progression in here, unlike the other one, but it was a simple chord progression that repeated over and over and over, not unlike a pop song. Harmonically, this is very similar to a pop song, actually. So that gives us two great examples of an ostinato. Now, let's move on and talk about what exactly is an ostinato, how you make one, and how you work with one. let's do that and cut to a new video. But if you, I want you to rewatch this opening sequence and really listen for that bell, that ostinato melody, that doon 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 dun 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 dun, that going through the entire thing. It never changes. In fact, let's just play it again, just so that I'm sure that you re-listen to it. This time, focus in on that. See if you can follow it for that entire opening sequence. It never changes.